What's up, YouTube? Do a little discussion today. Today, I wanted to talk about yo-yo direct sales and whether that's helping or hurting the yo-yo community. So let's get into it. Yo-yo direct sales. Now what I'm talking about is instead of, say, your random yo-yo company coming out with a new yo-yo, that yo-yo being released on YoYo Expert or YoYo Best Buy or La Tienda del Yo-Yo or Yo-Yo Village or wherever your favorite yo-yos are sold, them just releasing them on their own personal site. Now, this becomes easier and easier to do as time goes on, because the yo-yo community is not very big, as we've said before. So if you do a run of 100 yo-yos and drop them 25 at a time, you can probably, sell out in those 25 or so if you're a relatively decently known company, in within a week, or if you're G squared, within 3 seconds, and you can move that stock 25. Yes, it's a big evening of packing things, but to sell 25 yo-yos at what your cost would be, which is more, making more money versus what it would be just having the retailer pack it up and ship it, is really probably a pretty good evening for whomever. You figure the way cost works is you're generally paying 50% for whatever the product is, and then you tack on another 50% retail, and that accounts for your time, your energy putting things together, your any B grades or anything that just you have to eat, any of the costs that you have to eat to run the business, websites, all those extra costs that come in to owning a retail store. But those retail costs are coming down. What it costs to set up your own store. I mean, you can have a big cartel for free. Speaking of which, there's new Throws and Brews merch on the Throws and Brews store at Big Cartel, so check the link in the description. You're going to want to get one of those. There's a hat and there's a shirt. You'll see me. I ordered mine. They're on their way, but you'll see me with mine soon. New Throws and Brews merch in the Throws and Brews store, so you're going to check that out. But anyway, back to direct sales versus online stores being like, your yo-yo experts, etc. So, does this hurt the yo-yo community? Now, on one hand, it helps because you get a lot of designers who are then able to sort of support themselves by designing, having machined, and then direct selling that yo-yo for a good price, and having people buy that yo-yo at a lower cost to them, and but having that designer be able to make more money than they would have had otherwise if they'd have just sent a bunch to YoYo Expert or whatever. Now it's more work for those people. Like, they have to sit down with their families or their wives or whatever, and spend an evening or several evenings or whatever, spend some time every day packing boxes to ship. But the end result is more cash in their pocket, which leads to another run of yo-yos quicker, and overall more cash, a quicker build of your business because you have more cash on hand. And that's really good, especially for new upstart yo-yo companies and guys who are just getting into this, because we're getting some incredible yo-yos out of that stuff. We're getting some great designs and just some great playing yo-yos and just some new yo-yos and just a lot of stuff. Like, things have moved really quickly as far as yo-yo design is concerned, and that has a lot to do with it because those designers are able to sell direct and then able to then inject the more money that they've made by selling direct back into the product and then create more and better products, which is better for us, the consumer of yo-yos. And, so everybody wins on that end, sort of. There's the other side of things where a lot of those yo-yos would have gone to YoYo Expert and gone to YoYo Best Buy, etc. You're seeing their revenues hurt, and they're really the guys who have really sort of been the driving force in the yo-yo community and keeping the yo-yo community alive and well for the last, 10, 12 years. So to have them suffer could sort of indirectly affect the rest of the community. And by that, I mean, think of any major contest or any contest at all. Who do you see on the banner? You see YoYo Expert pretty much 100% of the time. You see Yo-Yo Factory. You see, those major players. Duncan, you see the major players in yo-yo on those banners. And if those major companies who shell out tons of cash and tons of yo-yos to make sure that contests happen all across America and all across the world, to be quite honest, if they start to see their revenue cut back because of direct sales, something's going to have to pick up that slack. Now, there's a balance, and I feel like right now, there's sort of a pretty good balance. And if the swing doesn't swing too far to the direct sale route, then things should be fine. However, the more swinging to direct sales, the more the direct sellers are going to have to put back in to the community to support contests and make sure the contests have enough funding. Because I'm going to tell you, from my own perspective, it costs a lot of money to put on a yo-yo contest. Like, a lot of money. I mean, we're not talking like, $200. To put on East Coast Masters, I would say cost us somewhere in the realm of like $2,000 or more. Probably a little bit more than that, actually, if you factor in all the little things that I'm not. So probably just over $2,000, and it was a big contest. But I mean, the venue we got was not very expensive. We only paid $500 for that room. So that's, while maybe that's expensive for a that's the only place I thought it was fair. And the room was huge, and it was set up perfectly, and they had the speakers and stuff that we could use. So for, we didn't have to pay like a DJ or anybody to come and run music. Kai just did that, and Kai and Mac hung out and took care of that. So, they had a lot of the things that would have otherwise been costs that we would have had to incur otherwise had we got like just $100 venue, but then had to rent a PA, pay somebody to run it, etc., etc., etc. So there's a lot of things that go into a yo-yo contest, besides a lot of planning, a lot of money. And you really can't run those contests without the money from the community members and the money from sponsors. And some of the biggest sponsors, like I've said, have throughout the entirety of the yo-yo community are Yo-Yo Best Buy, Yo-Yo Expert, Yo-Yo Sam, Duncan Yo-Yos, Yo-Yo Factory, and the direct sales and all of the new competition, I'm sure, is hurting their bottom line a little bit. So if they were to cut back, all those new direct sellers really are going to have to make up that slack. So while direct selling is great, and I really like it, look, I'm not saying direct selling is bad. And I think it's certainly something that the yo-yo community needed, because I support that. I support guys who just want to put their design out there and, not look to like make gobs and gobs of money, but at the same time, put their design out there, create the yo-yo that they had a fun time creating and they're going to have a fun time playing with, and to share their fun with the rest of us. I think that's awesome. That, to me, is like, that's why I got into yo-yo. You know what I mean? There's that community and sharing aspect and sharing the fun. And I think that really speaks to that. But I do think that there's a threshold that we also need, Yo-Yo Expert to be able to throw a couple $100 at a lot of different contests, so to make sure those contests happen across America and across the world. Because, new yo-yos are fantastic. I love new yo-yos. I get new yo-yos all the time. You guys see me open them, play with them every day. Every single day, right here on YouTube, on the Throws and Brews channel. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm talking about. But at the same time, I have a lot of respect, and I've spent a lot of money at Yo-Yo Best Buy and Yo-Yo Expert, and, those guys are awesome, and they help me out a lot, too. As you guys know, I'm a Yo-Yo Best Buy affiliate. There's a link in the description. But also, Yo-Yo Expert's awesome as well. They have everything in stock, and I think that's really, hopefully, things evolve, what's going to end up happening. There should hopefully be a happy balance. So what's my vision of a happy balance as far as that's concerned? So the individual boutique companies, this is actually available on Yo-Yo Expert, so I don't know why I'm pulling this up, because it's the yo-yo on the desk. This is Colin Beckford's Cognition from Unparalleled. But so you can get this. You could get this on the Unparalleled site, and now they're in stock on Yo-Yo Expert, which is great. And I think that there are companies that do it fantastically, SF does runs now out that go to companies that make it available for people. I know the Bliss has just dropped on YoYo Expert. They've done a couple of Bliss drops on YoYo Store Rewind to get some out of the country. So SF really does it. I feel like SF really has this sort of intuition with like what's great for the community, and they really kind of balance it out perfectly. Unparalleled does a similar thing. They really do a great balance of things, and I'd like to see more of that balance if and when possible. I know it's not always going to be possible for every company, but for the ones where it is possible, I like that, and I have a lot of respect for that, and for the trying to maintain that balance. So where I think the balance lies is, well, let's talk about like with YoYo Expert or with YoYo Best Buy. So JD does YoYo Freak stuff, and it's a drop of 100 yo-yos that comes out every month or so, and that 100 yo-yos is basically his direct product, but he's selling it through YoYo Best Buy, which is his site. So there's YoYo Best Buy specific products, the YoYo Freak stuff, the Buddha bearings, the Buddha string, and all of it's great products. Those are all really good products. They're sort of that mid-range level of like, this isn't like, high-end $200 boutique stuff, at least not yet. Maybe it will be at some point, but it's pretty much like budget-friendly, high-performance yo-yos that are unique and that JD himself likes, because that's really what it comes down to. You design and play with what you like. But, it's all good quality stuff for a solid price, and, sell it through there. And that really helps him to maintain his store and to keep doing what he's doing. And I really like the stuff, if you haven't noticed. I play with a lot of YoYo Freak stuff. I unbox it, I review it. It's great. It's all really great. And the Buddha stuff, too. The Buddha bearings are just like, man, if I could put a Buddha bearing in everything. But anyway, so I feel like that's a good balance, because like JD has said that he wants to kind of do 50-50. He wants to do 50% his stuff in store, and then 50% other stuff, and he's got, exclusive type stuff like Top Yo, although Top Yo's a YoYo Expert now, and just stuff like that. Top Yo, Recess, some one-drop stuff, and, CLYWs, because that stuff works. It works for him. Those guys are good to him, and they have a good relationship, and it kind of balances out well. I really like what YoYo Best Buy does, because he tries to only stock stuff that he thinks is the best, which is great. And I think it works out, because that way you don't ever really get a bad product. On the flip side, YoYo Expert is sort of the mega store. The YoYo Best Buy store, it's a good size store, but it's pretty small. YoYo Expert is the mega store. They have everything. They've got kendamas. They've got every part for every yo-yo you could ever think about. They've got every yo-yo that comes out, pretty much. If it goes to a retail store, it goes to YoYo Expert. And it's a mega store. It's awesome. It's got new stuff, old stuff. They just really have a lot of good stuff. And they're really good for the community, because they have a big club up there. And it's a really great place. What I think would be cool is if YoYo Expert gets a lot of like custom colorways and stuff. You get the black, white, and red YoYo Expert colorways on stuff. I think that's cool. I think it'd be neat if there was a step further at some point for there to be like YoYo Expert exclusives. And I know that YoYo Factory kind of has a similar thing with YoYo Expert, that they're sort of YoYo Expert exclusives. Not exclusives, but like exclusive colors and exclusive engravings and stuff like that. But I think they should take it a step further maybe and do exclusive yo-yos. Maybe not all the time, but I think that would be neat, because I would be interested in seeing what YoYo Expert could come up with from there. And it could be through whatever companies, but maybe through the companies that generally do direct, do one of those designs as a YoYo Expert exclusive or a YoYo Best Buy exclusive or something like that. I think that might be neat, and that might be a fun balance. So maybe that's where we're going, and maybe that's where it'll end up. Don't get me wrong, I think change is good, and I think that direct sales and store sales are good, and I think they help the community. I shop at all of the places. I buy direct, I buy from YoYo Expert, I buy from YoYo Best Buy, and I like everybody. So you can't really go wrong any which way, but I do hope to sort of spark a discussion, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. I know it's sort of a like, nobody really talks about it very much, but it's, something that JD talked about it with Doc Pop the other day. I'll link that video. And just something that's been kind of in the back of my mind before. JD and I have had little conversations about it, and it's just something that comes up in my head every great now and then as well. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'd love to have an actual discussion in the comments, so I'm going to try to watch this because I'll be around most of the day. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers to you. I'll see you next time.